This episode of Derby Profile was suggested by Ramari Taitt. Another day, another Derby Profile. Today's episode is going to be on Angel of Empire. Let's go. First things first, we got the stats, and these are some of the most impressive stats I have seen in this Kentucky Derby. 6 starts, 4 firsts, 1 second, and 0 thirds in earnings of $1,069,375. One of those defeats was on the grass, and that was also his only off-the-board performance. His other defeat came in his first major race, a second in the Smarty Jones Stakes, which gave him 4 Derby points. His other 2 major races was a victory in the Risen Star Stakes, which got him 50 points, and of course, his absolutely emphatic victory in the Arkansas Derby, just like his father. When it comes to his highest speed figure, it's surprisingly low, being a 94, which is on par with Mage when he came second in the Florida Derby, and Confidence Games' victory in the Rebel Stakes, and is 1 point less than Reincarnate, who ironically he absolutely destroyed in the Arkansas Derby. But I think speed figures don't really tell us the full story here. For running style, Angel of Empire is most definitely a closer, and a pretty good one at that. He's very effective at avoiding traffic, able to snake in and out of horses, and never really encounters much traffic trouble. That might be a weakness, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, but that is so far how it's been. He's had a bunch of clean, easy runs, where he comes from the back and is just unable to be stopped by anybody. Which I think is also his greatest strength as a horse. The fact that despite being a closer, as shown in the Arkansas Derby, he can open up a couple of lengths. In fact, he won the race in a more destructive fashion than his father, Classic Empire. And I bring up his father quite a few times, and that's because Classic Empire finished 4th in his Kentucky Derby, which is pretty respectable, especially considering how much trouble he got himself in. So the fact that Angel of Empire is preparing for the Derby better than his dad did is a pretty nice sign. Other major strengths to talk about include his victory in the slop back at Horseshoe Indianapolis as a 2-year-old, which means you can add him to your slop list, and also the fact that he has taken down some pretty legitimate Derby contenders already, particularly Two Phils, who went on to win the Jeff Ruby Stakes. He's also defeated lesser Derby horses like Sun Thunder, Reincarnate, and Rocket Can, and he did it pretty impressively, especially when it came to the Arkansas Derby. So the fact that he's picked off multiple Derby contenders already and doesn't seem to be challenged by them is a pretty nice sign that he might be a real match for Forte. It also very much helps that he did win the Risen Star Stakes in a field of 14 horses, which proves that he can close inside a huge herd without really much issue. And the fact he did it while defeating major Derby horses like Two Phils, that's a great sign that the 20-horse field is not going to be a worry for him whatsoever. So we got a closer who is capable of navigating between 14-horse fields almost perfectly and running on all surfaces besides turf successfully and defeating some of the top Derby contenders already. Is there anything that's really wrong with Angel of Empire? Well, not really, but I'll have to try and think of something anyway because every horse has a strength and every horse has a weakness. So far, the best that I could come up with is that he hasn't been challenged as hard as, say, horses like Forte. In the Florida Derby, Forte had every excuse to lose that race, being boxed in and then going 5 wide, and even just looking like he wasn't going to get there first when they reached the final furlong. But he prevailed anyway. Angel of Empire has had a pretty clean trip in all of his closing efforts. That could be because of skill, but it also could be chalked down to luck if you think about it. A clean navigator who has yet to be really challenged when it comes to his closing abilities. Also, if you care about speed figures, his are far from the best, and we've seen Derby horses run better speed figures according to the DRF, losing races, such as Mage, who equaled his top speed figure losing the Florida Derby to Forte, and Verifying, who was second in the Bluegrass and ran 5 ticks higher. That's only if you really care about speed figures, though, and that is the best I got. Overall, Angel of Empire is by far one of the best Kentucky Derby contenders and deserves a spot as the silver medalist when it comes to early choices for the Derby, and for that, I give him a solid A grade. There is almost nothing wrong with him. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Derby Profile. Comment on other horses I should do, and see you guys next time.